Let's get into the schedule release. So you guys asked this, granted tongue in cheek, on the Locked On Bengals podcast. Why do the schedule makers hate the Bengals?
Yeah.
What are your biggest takeaways or trends that you're seeing?
It's honestly altogether not an atrocious schedule in many, many ways. It's a relatively soft start to the season. We thought the Bengals had a relatively soft start to last season as well, and that was a disaster. They need to start fast. They have an
Mhm.
opportunity to do so again. They finished with 2 straight games at home at the end of the year. That's nice. They have a stretch in the middle of the season where they won't travel for over 30 days. They have 3 straight home games followed by a
Wow.
bye. So they get that month plus long period of no travel, which is nice. And generally speaking, because of their opponents and because of not having an overseas game this year, they travel the least of any NFL team. So those things are all great.
Mhm.
They're only a couple of short weeks on the schedule. They have 2 Thursday night games, including the most atrocious game on their schedule, which I'll get to in just a second, the Thanksgiving away game, and a Monday night football game.
Mhm.
And so they get 4 primetime games, which you can't really complain about, except I'm going to complain about it because last
They're
year
on
the
the
Bengals
road.
last year the Bengals set a record for the most road primetime games in a season. And then they get 3 primetime games on the road in 2025 against just 1 home primetime game. And
Yeah.
it's just after if last year it's the other way around and they have 5 home primetime games and 1 road primetime game, and then you're
Mhm.
like, oh, we need to balance that out. You're going to be on the road a little bit more this year. Fine. But the way the NFL is treating the Bengals is like, we know you're going to sell out a stadium when you go to town. So let's put those premium time slots when you're on the road. And maybe that's just where their opponents are this year, right? Like
Mhm.
they go to Buffalo, they're playing that at a 4:25 Eastern time slot. They're playing in Baltimore every year, but that's the craziest one to me is 4 straight road primetime games in Baltimore,
Yeah.
which is not unprecedented. And Jay Morrison, who covers the Bengals, did a great job of cataloging the various streaks and history of teams having to play road primetime games. But 3 straight Thursday night road games in Baltimore. 3 straight seasons. When the
Wow.
Bengals go to Baltimore, it's on Thursday night on a short week. And obviously, road Thursday night games are tough. They're even tougher when they're division Thursday night games on the road. So that one in particular stands out as heinous in addition to just the general split of the home road primetime games. And you would just think that after last year, they would have gotten a little bit of pity from the schedule makers, and that was not the result this year.
Quick pause. If you haven't subscribed to the BetCanada YouTube channel, you can do it below in one click. It's free. It helps support our channel so we can keep bringing you NHL and NFL content. Now, back to the show. At this moment, where would you rank the Bengals in this division? Are they the number 2 behind the Ravens?
I think that it would be hard to argue otherwise. I think there are
Yeah.
serious questions about the Bengals defense right now. New defensive coordinator Al Golden has a monumental task ahead of him in terms of development, in terms of turning around a team that's made pretty insignificant veteran investment on that side of the ball. TJ Slayton being the big one there, but has depth questions at multiple spots, has
Mhm.
serious pass rush questions. And then last year has had questions in the secondary as well. So how much can Al Golden turn that team around on that side of the ball is a question that essentially determines are the Bengals true contenders or are they a team that's halfway there in terms
Mhm.
of the offense should be good again. I
Yep.
do have concerns about the interior offensive line. They did not do enough to address those adequately in my mind, even on paper. And then you never know what happens when injuries start to kick up. But
Right.
an offense led by Joe Burrow, with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins will continue to be good. Joe Burrow is
Yep.
an elite quarterback that gives you an opportunity to push every year. Whether they've done enough around him to,
Mhm.
to make up for any margin for error that might occur or give them a chance to get a stop when they need it on defense, that's what remains to be seen. The Ravens, not significantly worse in
Right.
most ways that I can look at. They didn't really have a very active offseason either, but they're already kind of at the top of the division. Yeah, I mean it's hard to say that it wouldn't be the Ravens. And one other thing that stands out when you think about the Ravens and the Bengals probably being the 2 teams competing for the division with the Steelers not
Mhm.
having a quarterback and the Browns having 17 quarterbacks is the the history of the AFC North is that it's extremely difficult to win multiple years in a row. I don't think any
Yes.
team has won the AFC North 3 years in a row since its inception. It's only a 20-year-old division or so.
Mhm.
Um, I maybe need to double check that, but I think this would be the Ravens trying to make history as the first team to win it in that many consecutive years.
Is Aaron Rodgers gonna be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year?
I don't care.
I that's how
I don't know.
I feel so seen right now. I'm so sick of talking about it, but it just feels like in this moment, it's either going to be Steelers or retirement, and they're just in such a mess if he doesn't end up playing for them. But then I also low key kind of think they're a mess if he does play for them because I'm just a bit of
It's,
an Aaron Rodgers hater.
it's a different
But
kind of
what do
mess,
they?
right?
It's a different type of mess. What do they do if it's not Rodgers? They back themselves into such a corner.
I don't know. I don't know if it matters. I mean, the Steelers are a team that it seems like almost no matter what they do, they're going to have a winning record because they're going to get a lot out of the guys they have on the team. They're going to get a lot out of the defense, but even the
Defense.
players on that team right now are wondering what they're doing, not having a quarterback. So, like guys like Cam Hayward, like serious veterans on that defense who are the glue guys on that team, are like,
Mhm.
what are we doing here? What's the plan? We need to figure it out. Maybe they're
Yeah.
just waiting for Aaron Rodgers to show up in training camp, but I mean, this isn't 10 years ago.
Yeah.
We're in 2025 at this point, and where Aaron Rodgers certainly elevates the floor for the Steelers. Why I say it doesn't matter is, to me, and call me a hater all you want, Steelers fans, or one of you Steelers fans out there listening to this, is I don't know. I don't know what your audience is, but I'm just assuming if they see a Bengals thing, Steelers fans are going to know that it might not be so nice for their team. But to me, Aaron Rodgers is not a good enough player to make them Super Bowl contenders. The
Mm.
Steelers are going to be a fringe playoff team until they're not. Until proven otherwise, that's what Mike Tomlin gets out of that team, which leaves them in purgatory every year, which is why they haven't been able to find a quarterback again. They fell into Ben Roethlisberger back in the day as a
Mhm.
late first round pick, and that worked out for them in terms of Super Bowl success. But that's hard to do. And so why I say it doesn't matter is, like, maybe it would just be better for them to reset and just finally have that year. But that is not something in the blood of that Steelers front office or that Steelers coaching staff.